we have another person that's going to come up and talk. Liz James, she came to the Frisco event where Aaron Brockovich was. And she got the microphone, and she is a pharmacist in Anna, Texas. And she had noticed that there's an uptick in certain medications being prescribed during the burn. We call it the burn, the time when they turn off the ammonia and it's just the chlorine going through. So she's going to come up and just tell us her observations and maybe how we can look into some sort of correlation. So would you please welcome Liz James.
Hi there. So, holistic care is something that is not really that common for a pharmacist, I don't think. I have a lot of people that look at me a little funny, but I am probably one of the most holistic-minded pharmacists you'll meet. And I spend a lot of my time trying to get people off of medication instead of getting them on it. That's actually become my personal goal. So what I found, and a little background about me, I work for a chain right now. I've worked for them for about 5 years, and the first year that I worked for them, I did a lot of floating. And floating means that you go to different stores, and I worked in about 14 different towns in a year. That gives me a pretty broad scope of what's going on, and I was in those stores very regularly. When I was in Anna, and I live in Anna, but when I was in Anna, I started noticing an extraordinarily high amount of ondansetron and phenergan that was being dispensed. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Well, I ended up working in Anna full time, and so I really saw the trends. And I have to say, honestly, there were upticks, but Anna in general has a higher percentage of ondansetron and phenergan prescriptions across the board. I mean, there are times when it's like there is a virus or something, even though there's not, because then I'll start asking the school teachers and saying what's going on at the school, you know, and kind of get an idea. But I live in Anna, but I live on the outskirts of Anna, so I don't have Anna water. I do have North Texas Municipal Water District water. We're serviced by a co-op on our farm. And I might add too, we have an organic garden and organic blackberries. We have several hundred blackberry plants. We have to water them in a drip system on the ground, because if the water touches the berries turn white. Yeah. So, and that doesn't happen with rainwater. It's just the water. But the Anna water is foul. It is really foul. I cannot say the co-op water that we have is a much better quality water, but it obviously still has its problems. But anyway, you can't even drink the Anna water because the flavor is so bad. And it's we have an Anna. I'm sure you guys all have in your towns or areas of Facebook groups where we have all about Anna and different groups like that. And there has been threads of discussion that has gone on and on and on and on about people's hair falling out, their hair changing color, their skin issues. The same as with, I think the PA's name was Lauren that spoke. Yeah, you know, I've started watching that too, and I'm sure that there's a correlation. What my recommendation is for you guys is you have the opportunity to go to your pharmacies, and this could be a coordinated effort especially if you make friends with the pharmacist. And if you once you make friends with the pharmacist, because we're super busy, and it's not that they don't want to help, it's that they're being driven by insurance companies and their companies they work for. It's the mighty dollar. But if you will just say, if you know when the burn is, and I would say maybe even 2 weeks after that, get your dates, and you're not violating HIPAA, which is the privacy laws. But if you go to your pharmacist and you say, we're trying to solve a problem with our water, is there any way you could run a report on all strengths of ondansetron and all strengths of phenergan, and these are anti-nausea medication, during this time? All they have to do is give you a number. You don't have to get the report, because depending on the company, somebody's name might show up on there, and you can't have that. But if they just give you a number and then compare it to another date pre-burn and see what's going on, and you may start to see some trends there that would be helpful as a huge unit. But it's very concerning to me, just as somebody who's interested in being well naturally, and listening to the doctors. It also, fluoride is another issue that has bothered me for a very long time. It turns your pineal gland to stone too. I didn't hear them talk about that, but that's a concern as well. So, nasty stuff. Anyway, that's it. I am here to be helpful and to commiserate with you guys, and maybe we can work together.